everyone, welcome back to Gracie May's Tarot. So today we have a video that was requested by a subscriber. This is going to be your future spouse's hobbies and interests. So we have 3 groups to choose from today. As you can tell, we're filming outside. This is my first day ever trying this. I filmed another reading out here and it went pretty decently. Yeah, if you like filming outside, I definitely won't be doing this every time, but I think it's a nice change of pace. So let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments. But anyway, for pile 1, we have whatever you manage to do today will be enough. So this is pile 1. For pile 2, it says I am a work in progress, and that is okay. And for pile 3, we have don't focus on success or failure, just focus on effort, focus on trying. So these are the 3 groups here. So take a moment, pause the video, meditate on the groups if you need to. The timestamps are listed below in the description box, just like always, and I will see you all in your reading. Hi pile 1, if you chose the whatever you managed to do today will be enough card, you are in the right place. Alright, so let's get into your reading. This is my first day filming outside, so bear with me. We have for your group the Ace of Cups. We have the Death card. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Sun. We have the Queen of Cups, as well as Justice here. So what does this all mean in terms of what your future spouse hobbies and interests are? Now I will say with the Sun card, I do feel like your future spouse really likes to be outside, but I don't think of it in like a serious like athletic sort of way. You know, they're not into sports and that kind of thing. It's more so like they just like to be out in nature, you know, they just like to be in a beautiful garden. They like to be amongst the flowers. They like to soak up the sunlight. I think this is someone who actually enjoys like all of the seasons for different reasons. But I do think they enjoy just being outside. And again, in a very like soft and feminine way. You know, they'd like to relax by the water. They like to have maybe a glass of lemonade outside. You know, maybe they like to read outside or write poetry outside, or again, like just relax and meditate outside. You know, maybe that's how they gather their thoughts, you know, things like that. Maybe they like to go on walks outside, talk on the phone outside, like anything they can do outside. I think they enjoy that. That's not to say they don't enjoy being outdoors, but I think they understand that being outside is really good for their emotional and mental health. I think it feels quite restorative for them, and it is something that they like to incorporate into their hobbies. Like if this is an artistic person, which I could definitely see that with the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Now remember, we're not talking about gender when we talk about feminine energy, it's just energy. But I could definitely see them being very artistic and creative people. So any hobby that involves creativity, I could see them being interested in that as well. I also think this is someone who likes to explore, someone who likes to try new things, someone who is open to learning new skills. So they could just tell you one day, hey, I think I'm gonna learn to knit, and then they just learn to knit. Stuff like that. I also could see them being interested in hobbies that are quite relaxing, like coloring, or you know how people do like, it's not calligraphy, but like the fancy hand lettering or like bullet journals, something like that. I could see them enjoying that. I also feel like they take a very playful and lighthearted approach to their hobbies. You know, they're not very serious about it. That's not to say they don't have things they enjoy or things that they want to get better at, but they don't put a lot of pressure on themselves to be the best. You know, they really do things from a place of joy and personal emotional fulfillment and self-development. So this is a very mature person. With the Knight of Pentacles, they could also have a hobby that is a side hustle that brings them some little extra money, you know, a little bit of extra income. So that's really positive. With the Justice card as well, I do think they do things that are really, again, good for their own self-development, that they think make them a better person, that help them learn some things or connect with some sort of inner truth. Like for example, like I myself, I love to read, and I feel like there are definitely books that I read for fun, but there are also books that I read that really like help me learn some sort of truth about the world, or help me gain a new perspective, or you know, help open my eyes to something that maybe I wasn't aware of before. They could also be interested in social justice causes. This could definitely be someone who volunteers, or someone who, you know, I could definitely also see them being like the type of person who like volunteers at an animal shelter. Something about these cats is really drawing me in, so they could definitely be an animal lover as well. I could see that. I think they feel a very healing energy from the water as well. There's something about water that's very healing for them in particular. Even just the fact that, yeah, again, like there's a softness to your future spouse that is very pleasant, like very pleasant. Okay. All right, let's get into the oracle cards now. We have Virginia Woolf with Vision. I feel like this person likes to daydream a lot. They definitely get lost in their own mind. They get lost in their own thoughts. I think they enjoy that, and I think they kind of need it. Because again, your future spouse is very soft, very gentle. They need this downtime. They need this time for self-reflection as well. And just time to be playful and let their mind wander. I think your future spouse is a kid at heart for sure. They could also be interested in the law of attraction and manifesting through envisioning things. But honestly, I'm getting more of a daydreaming vibe from this. With Spider here, I feel like this person could definitely be good at storytelling, or they like to talk a lot. I think a lot of their hobbies could also involve the home and making the home beautiful. You know, they could be interested in interior design, something like that. They could be very crafty, you know, into craft projects. And I also think of a spider and how flexible their web is. You know, I feel like your future spouse is definitely someone who's open to learning new things. And so that, to me, in terms of the context of your reading, means that they would be open to trying out things that you're interested in doing and sharing in your hobbies and your interests. With Wings, I feel like this is another aspect to your future spouse's personality where they do like things that make them feel free. They like maybe a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I can relate to this as well. Like, I enjoy riding roller coasters, and I love anything that involves heights. So you may have some sort of like, people are typically like kind of surprised by that with me. So maybe there's something like that with your future spouse where they're really surprised, where you find yourself really surprised that they like something that involves a little bit of an adrenaline rush. With Apple, I feel like your future spouse could also maybe be into doing things that they feel are, again, good for them, both in terms of like their physical health or even just their emotional or spiritual health. I could definitely see your future spouse having some sort of spiritual practice that they like doing, or they have things that, this is someone who does self-care is really what I'm trying to say. They definitely do self-care, and they could have some sort of exercise regime that they like to do, but again, like, there's such a soft approach with your future spouse. Like, I don't feel like they would be someone who's like, I have to go to the gym every day and I have to do this many reps and I have to work out for this many minutes. It's more of a softer, gentler approach. And when they exercise, they may just have one thing that they do that they really enjoy doing. I don't, again, feel that kind of intensity from them. It's a very soft, artistic, creative kind of vibe from them. And honestly, very spiritual as well. Okay, now we have alone time. I'm not surprised by this at all. I do feel like your future spouse is quite sociable, but I feel like they need their alone time. I feel like they're still an introvert. You know, they need that time to recuperate. They need to withdraw from the world. I get a dreamy vibe from them. And then we have spend time with animals. So they could have a pet that they really, really love, you know, a fur baby. They could have multiple pets. This could also speak to how they like to be out in nature. You know, like right now, like I wanted to listen to the birds chirp and stuff and be outside. So yeah, that would be a good example of, you know, your future spouse's vibe. I think that's what I was talking about. Like they just like being outside, even just observing nature. You know, just like watching the birds or the bumblebees or, you know, the squirrels or bunnies or whatever. Okay. Then we have water magic. Again, they feel like they have this special connection to water that's really cute. With this water magic card too, I feel like this really speaks to how well they take care of themselves. This is someone who's learned how to mother themselves in particular. So maybe they had a difficult childhood, maybe this was something they had to learn and now they're a master at it, but I think they're really good at knowing when they need to slow down, taking time out for self-care, taking time out for things they enjoy doing, and they do things and activities that are good for their overall health and wellness. They really care about that. You know, they understand that you can't pour from an empty cup, and they really value self-compassion. And then we have meditation for creativity. I told you this was my artist group for sure. They're highly creative people, highly creative. So any type of creative, they could also have a side hustle that involves creativity, but any type of creative hobby could be a possibility for this group. Remember, it's a general reading, but I'm sure you guys can imagine things. Okay. Now we have the 2 zodiac signs that best represent your future spouse's hobbies and interests. Now, these don't have to be the sun signs of your future spouse. Again, this is just trying to get an idea of what their hobbies and interests are. I'm starting to lose my voice. I have filmed 3 readings already today, so give me just a second here. Had to drink some water. Okay, so we have Aries, and it says passionate, motivated, and confident. And we have Cancer, imaginative, loyal, and caring. I really think it's very cute that we got 2 opposite zodiac signs here, the fire and the water as well. So this person, again, is someone who is very balanced in their energy. Remember how we mentioned before that they could be a homebody? Like even though they like to be outside, it would be like outside in their backyard or at a park that's close to their house or their neighborhood. Like they like to be at home. And they definitely could be good at interior design. I think given that they're so creative, that would be something that would just come natural to them. I feel like they're very good at creating like a cozy, comfortable, and yet beautiful space. And you know, the Cancer is the mother, so again, they have this mom energy to them. Again, gender doesn't matter, they just have a mom energy. They're very nurturing, very compassionate. This is someone who, you know, would talk to their friend on the phone, you know, for an hour and just help them, you know, like this is kind of the energy of like, you know, people go to them for comfort, you know, people go to them because they know they will hold space for them. This is someone who's emotionally intelligent, you know, so when you're married to them, you know, you might get frustrated if you're like, man, like you're not your friend's therapist, like get off the phone, you know. I could see that being a thing. With this Aries card here, this is speaking to that adrenaline thing. Like they have this other side to them that's a little bit spicy, a little bit fiery, you know, and I think it's quite surprising when this side comes out because I don't think it's always evident, but they definitely like to have fun. They do like some spontaneity. I think that you might bring that out more in them, this fun, adventurous side. I think they just don't want to do things, you know, by themselves necessarily. But I think if you were to suggest something, they would be up for anything because they are quite playful. You know, they have that connection to their inner child. So they may be a homebody, but they may need you just to help them get out of their shell a little bit. But yeah, they're quite adventurous. And then we have clarity, clear thinking, and meditate. So yeah, even if they don't do like full-on meditation, I do think they have some sort of spiritual practice. And I do think they, again, they take time out just to be on their own and get their thoughts together, and they check in with themselves. You know, they're really good at taking care of themselves. We have timing, divine timing, and patience. I think this is the energy of your person right now. Like, just as a side message, like they're patiently waiting to come into union with you. Yeah, that's just kind of their vibe. Nothing really like, this is kind of like the mystic energy, you know, like the mystic archetype. Like, nothing is getting them out of their vibe. You know, like they are very focused on cultivating a sense of inner peace, and yeah, like don't mess up their vibe. We have triggered, emotional, provoked, and overthinking. Yeah, like what they do in terms of their hobbies and their interests really is getting at this. Like they are trying to avoid this feeling. Like they want to, you know, feel what they need to feel and let it go. You know, they don't want stress from like their job or school or whatever it is in their life. Like they don't want to deal with that. They want to take care of themselves, check in with themselves, you know, emotionally release what they need to release. And they probably do that through their creative hobbies, through taking out that alone time, spending time outside in nature, spending time with animals, you know, that water magic we were getting before, all those kinds of things. You know, I think that they are really just focused on being the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. And part of that, you know, is through their hobbies and their interests, how they spend their time. So we're gonna end your reading now, pile 1, with 2 love tokens. So it says good for a date night. So again, like if you pull them out of their shell, they will definitely have adventures and have fun with you. And we have good for a long massage. Yeah, this person is quite sensual. Again, I think that side of themselves, not everyone gets to see it, but I think you'll definitely bring that out in them. So pile 1, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads or do any of the things that I just listed out. Thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting the community thus far. I'm so excited to continue to grow with you all, and I hope that you like the filming outside. I like to do this not all the time, just every once in a while. And yeah, this was your reading, pile 2, and I will see you in my next one. Take care. All right, pile 2, if you chose I am a work in progress, and that is okay, you are in the right place. So let's find out your future spouse's hobbies and interests. So I'm filming outside today, so bear with me. This is still new to me. I pre-pulled all your cards to make it easier. So we have the 10 of Swords. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Page of Cups. We have the 4 of Wands. We have the Judgment card. And we have Strength here, and I just knocked the camera, I'm sorry. Okay, so I will say right away, like your future spouse, I think, has been through quite a lot in their life. They've had some really difficult times, and I think they may have just recently gone through something that was quite difficult and significant. With this 10 of Swords, like these swords build up over time, and so this could be something that has been compounding, like chronic stress in your future spouse's life, or, you know, chronic anxiety, things feeling out of their control, hurt, betrayal, grief, loss, disappointment, apathy, you know, all of those sorts of things compounding over time. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, like your future spouse has retained their goodness, and they've developed their strength and resilience as a result. And so just to get that message out of the way, because I think it's quite important to understand sort of the mindset of where your future spouse is at right now, because what they are focusing on now is how can they continue to grow their abundance. Like they're very focused on work right now, but they are also trying to balance that out with fun and playfulness. And so what that looks like is they are kind of partying and celebrating and spending time with friends and having fun, but in a way that they are still building long-term stability and security. So this is literally like the group where they work hard to play hard. Like, that's how I would summarize it for you. Like, they work really, really hard, and then they go out and they have a lot of fun. So I definitely feel like this group is quite extroverted, like your future spouse is quite extroverted. Yeah, I think like that's the best way to put it. I'm also getting this message that they could be really into physical fitness and exercise as well. They could be into music. I could definitely see them being into music. They have some kind of creative hobby, but it's something that they're learning. It's something new that they've started. They haven't been doing it for long, but they have a very playful approach to it. Like, they're just having fun with it. They're not, yeah. Your future spouse doesn't seem like someone who is super serious unless we're talking about their work. Like, they're quite serious about their work, but everything else they take a lighthearted approach to because of this energy. Like, because they have been through this and they've seen the other side of it, they're like, no, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'm going to make the best of things. Like, your future spouse is so optimistic. They're like, I'm going to make the best of things. I'm going to do me. I'm going to go my own way. And that's that. They're very independent. With Cauldron here, quite a lot of messages with this one simple card. Your future spouse could be learning to cook. That could be something there. They definitely could enjoy cooking, going out to nice dinners, that kind of thing, meeting up with friends for drinks. With Cauldron, I also think of a coven, so like a witch's coven. So your future spouse could have a solid friend group that they like to spend a lot of time with. With this Cauldron card as well, this makes me think of work, you know, and trying to put together something. You know, when you go about, like, I've never actually done this, but I imagine, like, if you were gonna do a spell, you would be like baking a cake, right? Like, you would have to get all of your ingredients together. You know, you would have to make sure the timing was right. I don't know, like, check the moon phases, what planets are in retrograde, or, you know, like, whatever. And yeah, like, and then you would cast your spell and you would have to set your intentions and be very clear about it. And so I feel like that kind of level of being that, like, detail oriented and that strong work ethic, I feel like comes out in what your future spouse is trying to accomplish in their career. So again, I think they have like a pretty good balance here between work and play. With Creature's Paw, I do think your future spouse could have some interests that are unique and really different and kind of off the wall. This is a general reading, so that could really vary. I suppose tarot is kind of an off the wall interest, but yeah, they could be into something that's maybe not the norm, not necessarily like mainstream. With Creature's Paw, I also think of sexuality, so this person could enjoy that aspect of life. I won't get too deep into it because of, you know, like YouTube and trying to keep it PC. Well, not PC. What's the word? PG. Trying to keep it PG. PC. I'm sorry. Okay. And then we have a story here. So I do think this is coming through to me, like maybe your future spouse has picked up writing, you know, or you know, anything involving like storytelling. Like maybe that's that new creative hobby that they've picked up. But I also just think that your future spouse likes to talk and they like to hang out with their friends, and I think they're quite charming and charismatic. You know, I feel like your future spouse would be at the center of their friend group, you know, like all eyes on them kind of feeling. I feel like your future spouse is really entertaining. And then we have Rebellion. Again, like they go against the grain, you know, they just do whatever they're interested in and they don't care if other people think it's weird or other people don't get it, you know, they go with their own vibe, you know, and I think it's because they've been knocked down so much and judged so much and hurt so much. They're like, you know, this is my life. I'm gonna do what I want to do and what feels right to me. And that's that. Okay, we have jealous, envy, green eye, and paranoia. I do think that your future spouse could have something that they're good at doing that other people are jealous of. You know, like they could inspire a little bit of jealousy, and it could just be, again, like because they're a little bit of a, well, not a little bit, a lot, because they are a social butterfly and very charming. That could be something that other people are maybe a little bit jealous of. We have water sign, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. I definitely feel like Pisces and Scorpio more strongly than Cancer here. Pisces because of, you know, the willingness to be different and kind of that dreamy aspect. And then Scorpio because of that sort of intense physicality that they have, that intense kind of like sexual energy that they have. And then we have passion, desire, heat, attraction, and chemistry. They enjoy this aspect of their life, okay? They're into this very much. This is going to be, I think, a significant area in your marriage, for sure. That deeply matters to them. So their love language could definitely be physical touch. We have take a walk. So they could like to get out in nature. They could be into like hikes and stuff like that. And we did pick up that they like to exercise, so maybe they like to exercise outdoors. So I could see this person having like, you know, this route that they run every morning, that kind of thing. And then surprise, surprise, we have pleasure. So again, that aspect of their life, we've got it like, you've gotten that message like 3 times now, I think. So yeah, it's pretty significant. And then we have meditation to dig deep. So your person could be into gardening. They could also have a dog that they're really into. They could be into crystals as well, because you see the crystals there. And we did get that message about them being into something that's unique. Not that being into crystals is necessarily unique, but it is different. You know, some people still judge you like, oh, like you really think crystals work, or, you know, have powers, or, you know, people can be a little bit judgmental of that. So also, again, like they could just enjoy getting out into nature. And I do feel like they've done a lot of self-reflection. You know, I feel like they've really come into their own, and they're quite confident about who they are. We have meditation for clarity. I think, again, like they literally could be into meditation. You've gotten meditation twice now. But I also just think that they really follow their own inner voice. Like they really follow and march to the beat of their own drum. Like they follow their own song. You know, they do whatever feels right to them. And they don't really stress or worry about what other people think about that. Okay, these 2 cards are showing the zodiac signs that best represent your future spouse's hobbies and interests. Now, these don't have to be like their sun sign. This is just getting at how can we best understand what their hobbies and interests are. So we have Aquarius, clever, reliable, and creative. This makes a lot of sense. Like, this is the space cadet. This is the person who marches to the beat of their own drum. So Aquarius is so perfect for your group here. I think also, like, Aquarius people are very intelligent. They also care a lot about the collective and the group, and they're, to me, like one of the best friends you could have in the entire like zodiac wheel. Like they're just a good time, and they really care about people, and yeah, they're just unique. And they definitely they're the opposite sign to Leo, so they still have that energy of like being the center of attention. And I think people could get jealous that this person is brave enough just to be themselves, you know? I'm sorry, I'm shaking the camera a little bit when I put stuff down on the table. Okay, and then we also have Sagittarius, honest, caring, and loyal. So, love that. Also, mutable energy. So, I think this person could definitely like to travel, like to explore. I think they're quite blunt and quite honest as well. I think they just, Sagittarius people are also very funny. So again, I think they're quite charming. Yeah, and a very like, they have a strong personality. You know, not everyone gets this vibe, but this would be someone that I'd want to be friends with. Like, they really, like, they just have a good vibe to them. Like, you know, they're honest and they're upfront. You know, you don't have to guess like what they're thinking or what they mean by something. You know, this isn't someone who lies to spare someone's feelings. Like, and that's not to say that they hurt anyone's feelings, but they speak their truth and they live their truth, and they really genuinely care about people and humanity as a whole, and I think that's really beautiful. So you've gotten air and fire, and you've also gotten water, and yeah, so I definitely think this is a mixed group in terms of zodiac placements, but also just the energy in which you perceive them. This person's very dynamic is what I'm trying to say. So let's end your reading now with 2 love tokens from your future spouse. So we have good for a romantic sunset, and we have good for a very long cuddle. Surprise, surprise. More physical intimacy. All right, so pile 2, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to simply watch the ads. Thank you so much for anyone who chooses to do any of those things. I'm so grateful to everyone who's been supporting the channel. It really means the world to me. Everyone is so sweet in the comments. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one. Take care. All right, last but not least, if you chose the don't focus on success or failure, just focus on effort, focus on trying card, you are in the right place. So let's get into it. This is my first day filming outside, so bear with me. All right, I pre-pulled all your cards to make it a little bit easier here. We have the 9 of Wands. We have the 4 of Swords. We also have the 4 of Cups here. We have the 10 of Wands. We have the 3 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles. This is divine feminine energy. Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. This could be talking about you or your future spouse's energy, but we'll get into it as we get into the reading. Remember, we're just talking about energy, not gender. And we have the Ace of Wands to end out your tarot. So let's see here. You have a very different message than the other 2 groups. In fact, it's kind of a little bit of the opposite message of pile 2. So your future spouse is someone who works so hard in their career that they really don't have very much time for hobbies, for downtime. And so that may be something that you guys have to work through in terms of them even just having time for the connection. Obviously this is the person you marry, so you do work it out, but that may be the one thing, like you're like, man, they work too much, or they work too hard, or they're too hard on themselves, or they exhaust themselves, or they don't ask for help when they need it, you know? You may have to get on to this person about that. Like, you know, I respect your work ethic, I respect your ambition, but also, you know, you're gonna work yourself into an early grave if you don't, like, chill out. So, you know, they take on so much responsibility and they don't really ask for help. And, you know, this person's gonna be a great provider in terms of finances for sure, but yeah, they take on a lot. They definitely take on a lot. However, with that being said, what they do for their career is something that they are very passionate about. And I think that's what sometimes gets them into trouble, is that because they love their job and because they do what they love for a living, they think they don't need to stop and take care of themselves. They forget that it is still work at the end of the day, even if they love what they do. And so, you know, when they do take time out, they sometimes can't enjoy like a vacation. You know, this is the type of person that would bring their laptop on vacation and try to work, you know, at the hotel, that kind of thing. You know, sometimes they don't see an opportunity that's presented to them to rest and recuperate. That way they can return to their job at 100%, you know, instead of working to the point of burnout. They could also miss help that is being sent their way because they're so focused on solving the problem themselves. But when they do rest, they really, really rest. So their hobbies are literally like, when I have downtime, I like to rest, because it's like they're doing their hobby, they're doing their passion, their interest for work. So when they're not working, they want to rest. They just want to rest. They just want to relax and do nothing. And again, it's because whatever their biggest hobby is, their biggest passion, that's what they do for work. They do that all the time. Which is both, you know, sometimes a blessing and sometimes a curse, right? But they're very, very financially abundant. This is either them or the status they will elevate you to, because they are going to be very financially stable. All right, let's get some more information about this. We have a rabbit here. So they're definitely focused on growth and fertility here. This could be someone who's really wanting to have children, but I also feel like they take this approach with their career, with their job. Like they're really just focused on growing their abundance. With the glove here, I know this is a very delicate looking glove, but it makes me think of like wearing gloves to work. Like, okay, I'm putting my gloves on, I'm going like hard at work. Like it just feels like that's their main thing. Like that's how they spend most of their time, is just working. We have the soul here with Emily Dickinson. So again, like I feel like they're living in their soul's purpose. You know, like what they do for their work is their soul's purpose. And we have bravery. I think that what they do for a living is something that's really hard to find success in, but they've done it, and it's really impressive. Like, your future spouse is a very impressive person. It's quite extraordinary what they've been able to do. I do think this message isn't really coming through with the cards. It's just something that, I don't know, it's just a message, I guess, that I just channeled. But I do think that they could definitely have a pet that they really, really love. So, but I think they have a lazy pet. Like, I think they have a pet that, you know, like some pets like want to go outside and want to play and you gotta walk them. And I think they have a pet that's like really chill. Like they could have like a fish or a turtle or a snake, or they could have like, you know, like a lazy cat that just like wants to sleep all day and cuddle with them on the couch, you know, or, you know, they could have a dog that's maybe older in years. I know when my dog got older, you know, all she wanted to do was just lay around and cuddle, like, you know, or be left, you know, by herself. So they could have a pet like that. They really love their pet, but when they spend time with their pet, it's just, again, like relaxing, because they work so hard. So when they do get time off from work, it's just, they're tired. They're really tired. Okay, we have plant the seeds. This person could definitely be running their own business, and that's why they have to put in so much effort. And they could be doing something that requires a lot of work up front, and then once they start to see that abundance come in, which I definitely think they already are, but then they'll be able to step back and maybe delegate some tasks, or maybe they'll have some passive income. So I don't think they're always going to have to be working this hard, but I think it's kind of like, well, if I work hard, really, really hard now, I'll be set up for life. And so I feel like that's why they're kind of willing to make this sacrifice. And we have given to passion. This is their whole life. You know, they have given their life over to their passion. There's something that they are so incredibly passionate about, and it's definitely something creative, for sure. But they love it. They really, really love it. I'm not going to say definitively like what it is, because it's a general reading, but anything involving creativity and possibly running their own business. And it's a field that it's really hard to find success in, and they are very talented. That I will say. And with the bravery card here, they may have also had to go against their family's wishes, or again, like societal norms that tell you like what is practical. So we have connect with crystals. I don't think that they actually do this. Now they might, I'm not saying they don't, they might, but I think this is honestly something that's recommended for them, and this could be like, if you're really into crystals, this could be something that you share with them, because this would be a way for them to like cleanse their energy or help with their creative process without actually having to you know, devote so much time to it. They could just have crystals in their office or their workspace. They could take a few minutes out the day to meditate with crystals, or, you know, like wear crystal jewelry or something like that, if that's something they would do, or they could put a crystal in their pocket. So that could be something you introduce them to, or something that you could suggest to them once you come into union with them. Again, they might work with crystals, but I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling like this is a message for you to share this with them. And then we have journal here. I shook the camera, so I'm sorry. Journal could be something that they like to do in their downtime for sure. I could definitely see this person making a lot of lists, a lot of short notes, especially during their creative process, in their planning stage. I could see them making a lot of notes to themselves. I feel like you would probably find like little short lists all around the house, things like that, you know, little scraps that they've written to themselves so they don't forget an idea, or all the things they have to do, stuff like that. Okay, these two cards are the zodiac signs that best represents your future spouse's hobbies and interests. Your reading is very different than pile 1 and pile 2. I'll go ahead and say that. So we have Virgo here, creative, humble, and hardworking. Yeah, there's strong Virgo energy throughout this entire reading. Like, your future spouse is very detail-oriented, very hardworking. They're a perfectionist. They really have that drive. They really have that drive to succeed, and they're methodical about it. Like, as creative as they are, it's very different than pile 1. They're very methodical. Very methodical. You know, they're trying to create financial success and abundance from their creativity, whereas pile 1 just did it for the sake of enjoyment. This group is trying to make something. And then we have Leo, creative, loyal, and leader. So yeah, bravery, little brave heart. Yeah, they definitely have given themselves over to passion. Like, they're following their heart's desires. They're living within their soul's purpose. Like, that's thing to know about them. They really have a heart of gold, though. They really do. They have a heart of gold. They're going to be very generous too, again, with their finances. Like, everything that they're doing, part of it is because they have this pressure on themselves where they want to be a provider. This could be for their family or for their future family with you, or, you know, for their future partner, which is going to be you. They really want to be a provider there. You know, they want to pull their own weight. They want to make sure they have something to bring to the table. So if this person isn't wealthy yet, they're definitely going to be. Absolutely. I need to take a moment and get a sip of drink. I'm sorry. This is the 4th reading I filmed today, so I'm amazed I haven't completely lost my voice. We have Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So further confirmation, this person could be an Earth sign. These could be dominant placements in their birth chart. That bird is really loud. I am in the bird space though, to be fair. But yes, so they could definitely be like a very practical person, someone who's very concerned about financial success and stability, very hardworking. Yeah, this could also be like their rising sign, their Venus, their Mars, their moon sign, but they could definitely have an Earth sign as their sun placement. We have balance, work, life, and even ground. This is what they need to learn. This is what they need to learn. I do think they're working on it, but I don't know if this is going to be fully a thing when you meet them. I think they may still be kind of a work in progress with this area and figuring this out when they come into union with you. But just take what resonates. But it's not that they're not aware that this needs to happen. Like, they do at least know that this needs to happen. And then we have anxiety, stress, worry, and overthinking. They're prone to this because they're working too hard. And so when they achieve that balance, they won't feel so anxious. So that's really what they need to work on. No one's perfect. I'm a little bossy, so that's my thing. Okay, so we're gonna end your reading now with 2 messages, what do I call these? Love tokens from your future spouse. So we have good for a candlelit dinner, and we have good for breakfast in bed. I told you, this person likes to relax, man. Like when they stop working, they just want to relax and be lazy and lounge around and be comfortable. It's funny, now that I'm looking at this message, this feels like your message to them. Like this feels like your higher self telling this to them. It's just kind of interesting. The other groups weren't like that, but you may identify with this energy as well. You may be like, wow, I'm kind of a workaholic too. So yeah. Pile 3, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to simply watch the ads. Thank you all so much for letting me do this reading for you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one. I know this one was quite different, but the messages were what they were. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one. Take care, Pile 3. Oh.